It was several things, but 9/11 was a big one. Ended up about to commit suicide, and I heard Jesus speak to me.
Today we're interviewing Joe Hanvey, the gentleman demonstrating everything from 24-hour sun, rainbows, lunar eclipses, star trails, halos, sundogs, all in his dome dungeon. Should be interesting.
And I had to work with him every day, so I was like, I'm gonna study this stuff just so I can have a conversation with the guy. And I started finding a lot of stuff he was saying was true.
Wow.
I was like, wow, this.
We'll get to that interview in a second, but my name's Nathan Thompson. Used to run the official Flat Earth and Globe discussion before it was censored at 155,000 members. Then my YouTube and Instagram were taken down, but I've been on National Geographic, Netflix, MSN, Google News, Daily Mail, New York Post. But someone asked me if I wanted to pick up this RV and go on tour. I could do meetups, interviews, collect products. We're going to put them all on a website. I can make observations that debunk the globe religion. I've got infrared, high power telescopes, high power zoom cameras. We're doing astrophotography, and all with my dog Geo, the star of the show. So hope you're ready for it. We got some sponsors: Paraplegic, Tinfoil Hat Factory, the Flat Earth Sun Moon Clock app, Referral Code NEO. Let's get right into it. About to get crazy. What, dude? Welcome everyone. I'm here with Joseph Hanvey. He's the one making the dome models. He's also very into astrophotography. One of the most intelligent flat earthers I've met, and I've met 5,000 flat earthers or more on my journey. Joe, thank you so much for giving me 20 to 30 minutes of your time. I really appreciate it. Could you just tell everyone who you are and your channels and what you're all about real quick?
Yeah, I have YouTube. I have Rumble. I haven't really done much with it. I just recently got on X and TikTok. I think I've been on TikTok for a couple of weeks now. So you can find me on all those: Facebook, Instagram. I'm on all those, Joe Hanvey or Joseph Hanvey. You can find me under any of those. That is my real name. I'm not hiding who I am. I am 100% out there. So, but yeah, I just love trying to figure things out. And that's what I've been trying to do, is model our sky. We already know the floor is level, so we're trying to model the sky and show that there are other possibilities for how the phenomena in the sky work.
I think a lot of Globers are confused about what a model is. A model is a physical representation of a specific phenomenon in nature, and they think it's like some video game that solves everything and like can describe why peaches are sweet. And no, we don't. It's one thing, but what's interesting about Joe's dome here is you can almost model everything in the sky with this dome right here.
So far, I can account for most of the celestial phenomena that we see, yes.
That's incredible. Is there
Have I figured out how to explain it all properly? I'm still working on that.
Is there anything that you can't model that you're working on, or you want to be able to model?
Yeah, I'd love to model. Well, there's a lot of things that I'm going to model that I haven't personally modeled yet, that I have seen modeled, but I would love to model, to build one where I show ocean currents. I would like to try to do air currents as well inside the model. I think that's possible.
Have you heard of the magnetohydrodynamics and how they do that with the lead flakes and everything? I think that would be great. Have you heard of Resonance 369?
Sounds familiar.
Dude, he would be the man to link up. I had someone tell me, try and get Joe to link up with this guy, because you've got the physical dome and everything, and he's got like the energy system. That's what he's working on. So interesting stuff there. I'm curious.
But I'd like to model tidal nodes as well, by submerging it in an ebb and flow system and creating that ebb and flow pressure system through what would be considered tidal nodes. There's a lot behind that and a lot to it. It's going to take time, but I believe it's possible.
How many domes have you been working with, and how'd you get to this one?
I've worked with a bunch. I started off with smaller ones, just playing around with those, little ones like this that kind of represent, see, it's got the flat ceiling inside of it. This one's
to mimic the superfluid?
Yeah, this one's newer, gene edited, sent that one to me.
Shout out Gene Edited and V Composite.
And like this was one of my first ones, like just a solid paperweight.
Yeah. And you can do the star trails with this one too, get that optical illusion of moving in opposite directions.
Yeah, and you can show how in the southern zone it's creating that optical phenomena of this, what we would call the southern celestial pole.
And you've modeled the southern celestial pole here. You've also modeled the 24-hour sun in the south here, which has caused a ton of controversy because that's a hot topic.
Yeah, and I mean, Of course, the globe proponents are gonna fight that really hard because it's really their only so-called win that they've had, because all the other, there's works on a globe, works on flat Earth, and then there's, doesn't work on a globe and doesn't work on flat Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing they really have in their basket now is the 24-hour sun.
Yeah.
As far as works on the globe.
It's not an issue.
It's really weird too, like since they've been, there's now all of a sudden there's all these outlets showing us how we can go see the 24-hour sun. And it seems like they're just coming out of the woodworks. Like I just watched a video of a flight where you can fly from Australia, and it's a flight to go see the midnight Antarctic sun.
Oh wow.
And like the cheapest package is $1,200.
So we're going next year. I've already decided we're going to Antarctica next year.
So you can go to Australia, and like December 31st, you can pay $1,200. You fly for like several hours, and you get to see the sun the whole way, and you get to see the midnight sun, and then you come home.
Wow.
So, and then you've got the Antarctic Marathon where you have all these people, and they cater to all these groups that like to go do the 7 continents thing. So you have people that go mountain climbing, skiing, running marathons, doing all kinds of stuff. And like now all this information is just flooding everywhere. It's weird that now it's flooding everywhere.
What got you into the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories? Was there one, 9/11, was it moon landing? Was something that set you down a path of, wow, we are being lied to on a massive scale?
It was several things, but 9/11 was a big one that really led me into a lot of stuff once I figured that out. But I was training a guy when I was working for Scott's many years ago. Probably around 2005, late 2004, 2005, early 2006, somewhere in that range. And he was into all kinds of conspiracies about the Masons and how they built the U.S. and how Washington, D.C. was built by Masons, and it looks like a pentagram, and we're in the end times and all that. And I wasn't even really what I would consider a believer at that point. But I had to train the guy, and I had to work with him every day. So I was like, I'm gonna study this stuff just so I can have a conversation with the guy. And I started finding a lot of stuff he was saying was true.
Wow.
I was like, wow, a lot of stuff this guy's telling me is true.
Was he the one who told you it's flat, or who told you it's flat? And how long ago was that?
He didn't tell me it was flat. That probably was somewhere between, I think I've said between 2009 and 2012. It could have been 2013, but it was somewhere around 2012, 2013. My best friend's the very first person I ever told. And his kids were probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 at the time. They're 17 now.
Jeez.
So,
what were the evidences that you first saw that made you question the reality?
Well, I was doing a lot of scripture study, and I was helping teach a college and career class at the church I was attending at the time. And I was doing some teachings on cosmology and prophecy, and how they're kind of tied into the end times. There's a lot of cosmological stuff tied into the prophecies of the end times. And a couple of things that really stuck out to me was every eye shall see. I was like, well, how does that happen on a ball? How does every eye see him? And we could say, oh, everybody's going to have a TV or a smartphone.
No, it says eye.
Yeah. So that, and then it also says he's going to roll back the sky like a scroll. And those two things really just stuck with me. I was like, nah. And then Genesis 1 with the firmament. What is the firmament? And you hear like people like Kent Hovind say, well, it was this vapor barrier around the spherical earth that was destroyed at the time of the flood, and it's no longer there. It just never resonated with me.
This is a perfect lead into my next question. How long have you been a Christian, and like what was that process? Were you raised believing in the Bible, or?
My mom's side of the family there was a couple of, they were all basically Christian, I guess you would say. But no, I wasn't raised Christian. I wasn't raised in a church. We went to church a few times when we were young, not consistently. I never really lived that kind of Christian life. It was just not something that was all that important or in the forefront of my mind. I guess it was important to kind of know God, but it just never was in the forefront or anything of my mind. I believe he saved me when I was little in church. I was asked if I believed in Christ, and I was told about sin and salvation, and I believe he saved me then, even though I didn't understand it and I didn't live for it, and I didn't even go to church that much. We only went for a short period, and then we really didn't go at all after that. But I really believe he saved me that day. And then 2004, I was in a real bad place in my life and just ended up in a situation that is not ideal. Yeah, I mean, I really didn't have a lot going for me in my life at that point. At least I thought that way, because I didn't go to college, I was always, it was programmed into me, if you don't go to college, you're going to be a nobody, you're not going to do anything. So it just kind of led me to living a bad life and doing bad things, and I ended up in a really bad place and was hooked on drugs for a long period, crack cocaine, and ended up about to commit suicide. And I heard Jesus speak to me, and he said, get up, get out of here, I have plans for you.
Yes.
Very clearly. It's unmistakable. Never heard a voice like it in my life. So now I understand why when he looked at the disciples and they were at their fishing boat at the shore of Galilee and he said, follow me, they didn't just say, who is this weirdo? They followed him.
Speaking of following, give me a follow. Please share the interview if you enjoyed it. I'm on my way to the Atlanta meetup, so I've got to get on the road with Gio. And I love you guys. Be the change you want to see on Flat Earth. There's a ton more videos coming out. I've got 4 or 5 interviews to edit and lots of content. So stay tuned. I'm also heading west. So if you're in Memphis, Little Rock, Dallas, San Antonio, Phoenix, Northern California, Central California, Southern California, let me know. I'm coming your way. I love you guys. See you in the next one.